My name is Rachelle Pean, so that's Rachelle Pean. And I heard the name of the summit, and that in itself, I was like, all right, I'll get on a plane. And so now I'm here.
Just the name?
Just the name,
yeah. So the whole name is Calm Steps to Vibrant Action, Yoga, Trauma, Spirituality, and Social Justice.
Yes.
So all of that in the name, or were there any specific parts of that that were attracting you?
Yeah, it was the yoga, because I'm a yoga teacher, trauma, spirituality, and social justice. So all of those things together, being a social worker, which looks at the bigger picture, right, and social justice and how that interplays with the individual, and a yoga teacher, which I think teaching yoga, we're holding space for the individual and also this bigger picture that they bring into the room. So all these little interplays, big interplays, trauma is always weaved in there too. So yeah, the title really spoke to me. I didn't even know how amazing Nancy was until I got here.
So you hadn't met her?
I had not met her. We had like 2 phone conversations.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing that's struck me the most are the other people that are here. So something about the space and what's been coordinated has drawn some really amazing, incredible healers. And so to have the opportunity to have these really intense and beneficial workshops, and then outside of that have lunch and you start to dive into a conversation about what it means to have social justice in your area and the different levels that people are working with in their respective areas, and then to hear that, you know, what one person is working with people on a reservation on, that's happening in New York in a different way. So to like feel those connections with people that you're just meeting from all these different places, that's been the most powerful part of the summit for me. And I think also this collective sharing of gifts and benefiting from gifts, so this reciprocal, cyclical, give in and receive, that's been really powerful so far.
What do you feel you've learned that you didn't already know?
For me, so I'm from New York and I lived in the Bronx for a while, but I grew up upstate, and so there are people that live in New York that are very connected to nature. I am not one of them. I had not been so aware of the direct relationship between us and the earth.
Wow.
So even just being here in this physical space and then hearing other people talk about their relationship with the earth and how deep and real it is, that's something that's opened up that I'm going to have to keep unpacking when I get home, right? Because that, I think I just touched the top layer here, and there's a lot more to go.
Yeah,
so
wonderful. What are you looking forward to taking home?
So, yes, I feel energized. I feel, because when you're in the work, sometimes it can feel like there's so much to do, and it can feel the social justice work, working with systems of oppression, working with mental health, it can feel at times overwhelming, right? And so being able to step away from that and hear what so many other people are doing in their communities, I feel re-energized to go back home. And I'm actually planning, I was writing it down in one of the workshops that I sat in, because like ideas were just flowing to me because of the energy that I was around. So I'm planning out a 9 to 10 week like workshop course that can be free to the community, that incorporates this mind, body, spirit exploration. So I'm really excited to like keep developing and reaching out to the community and see what's needed there and bring that back home.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think like being in the environment that where you're serving, sometimes it's really easy to normalize the systems and and just see them as finite. Like, this is the way things have been, this is the way things are going to be. So to be able to be away from that and look at the systems and talk about the systems, it's like, no, there's space for change, there's space for these things to shift. And I think getting a clearer idea of my responsibility and my role within that shift. So, like, bringing that. And also, I'm learning the importance of not creating, but attending more spaces like this and how important that is for me in the work that I do.
When you say spaces like this, do you mean out in the middle of the desert in Arizona? Or, yeah, what do you mean?
I mean, like, communing with other people that are serving in some ways, and a space where people are sharing ideas, and there's this space to imagine what this work could look like, and having that space. And that's something that's been provided for me here that I may not have experienced that, definitely not at this level before. So
what are you passionate about? What social justice issues are you most passionate about? And how do you see yoga intersecting with that?
Yeah, I'm the most passionate about lack of access to services for people of color, period. Lack of representation of people of color in healing modalities and in being healed, right? And like healing themselves. I'm most passionate about making these practices that a lot of them came from indigenous peoples, and bringing them back, because that's where they belong everywhere, and they've been really, there's a lot of barriers up right now for people of color to access. So that's one of my biggest, I feel like that's why I'm here, is in whatever way I can, is to take these practices, and by embodying them, because they've helped me a lot, to create whatever access I can for people of color in my community. Which is why, like, when I'm teaching yoga on Sundays, and one of my best friends, Corinne, who's a wonderful woman of color, very powerful, and had never practiced yoga, and now she comes every Sunday, and I just see her flowing and like bopping her head to whatever music, and that, to me, that's activism. Is she's in the room and she's in her body and she's claiming this space as her own, because it is, and she deserves it. And that's something that I'm really passionate about, is like, we deserve this too. We are deserving too.
Yeah.